Welcome to Think BRICS. This isn't your average sustainability talk. Moving beyond polarized climate debates, we provide a clear-eyed analysis of the paradoxical COP28 hosted by the oil-rich United Arab Emirates. Spotlighting BRICS' pragmatic visions, we examine diverse perspectives from alarmists to cooperation advocates. Can petrostates genuinely further sustainability? Our unique approach explores how emerging economies are cutting emissions while enabling growth. An insightful solutions-focused journey into the heart of global policymaking. Forget finger-pointing. Join us for a constructive discussion on enacting real change. What is a COP? It is like a big meeting held every 2 years where countries, businesses, and activists come together to tackle the so-called climate change. We have had 27 of these COPs, but guess what? Climate change seems to still be a big problem. Now we are gearing up for COP28. This year it is happening from November 30 to December 12, 2023 in the United Arab Emirates. Here is the kicker. The United Arab Emirates is known for its oil-rich economy, which is kind of ironic since these talks are all about stopping the very thing they are famous for. COP28 faces controversy due to the United Arab Emirates' oil-based economy and Sultan Al Jaber's dual role as president and CEO of both an oil company and a clean energy firm, raising conflict of interest and greenwashing concerns. The involvement of fossil fuel lobbyists known for influencing climate negotiations further questions COP28's efficacy in tackling climate change. Throwing even more gasoline on the fire of controversy came from the Guardian newspaper, which, on the very day the COP28 proceedings opened, published an online discussion that took place in late November between Sultan Al Jaber with Mary Robinson, former United Nations Special Envoy for Climate Change, at She Changes Climate, an initiative that connects women and green activism.
That's a real thing?
Stop laughing, it really exists. The president of COP28, Sultan Al Jaber, has claimed there is no science indicating that a phase-out of fossil fuels is needed to restrict global heating to 1.5 centigrade, the Guardian and the Center for Climate Reporting can reveal. Al Jaber also said a phase-out of fossil fuels would not allow sustainable development unless you want to take the world back into caves.
As I've said, for both the workers
you can take the lead. I'll make sure I put you as an item on the agenda and I'll adopt it. Someone has to take the lead. You are a developed, you come from a developed country. Developed countries, I'm sure, can take the lead like they always do and lead by example. You can lead by example. And like I said from the beginning, I accepted to come to this meeting to have a sober and a mature conversation. I'm not in any way signing up to any discussion that is alarmist. I am here factual and I respect the science. And there is no science out there or no scenario out there that says that the phase out of fossil fuel is what's going to achieve 1.5. 1.5 is my North Star. And a phase down and a phase out of fossil fuel, in my view, is inevitable. It is essential, but we need to be real, serious, and pragmatic about it.
At this point, however, it is necessary to ask the fundamental question that inspired this video. Is Sultan Al Jaber right or wrong? And here we are sure our audience will be divided, so it is best to clarify where we at Think BRICS stand, and then explain instead how BRICS stand on environmental issues. In our opinion, he has a point. To be clearer, we recognize the harmful effects of air pollution on nature and humanity and the potential for sustainable development. However, we share skepticism. While acknowledging that the climate is changing, we question the extent of human influence or control over this change, mirroring the sentiments expressed by Sultan Al Jaber in his recent statement. We are sure that many of you also share our position and many others don't. But we still invite you to share your opinions in the comments and use an open-minded approach, because we do not want to polarize the discussion, but try to find a constructive way of analyzing the issue. We know that the topic of climate change is not very popular among our followers. At least we thought so when we published a post in our community to announce the COP28 event. And we were immediately accused of being servants of the system and other various amenities, as if telling and promoting the BRICS project and activities should necessarily lead to a clash with the mainstream narrative. In some ways, that would be nice, but the reality is quite different. Pay attention now, because the topic we want to bring you to is a bit nuanced and requires more open-mindedness. Many of you have already heard of the 2030 Agenda, or the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, set in 2015. These 17 goals and 169 targets aim to stop poverty, reduce inequality, protect the environment, and ensure sustainable development by 2030. They apply to all countries and aim to be achieved by 2030. To be clear, BRICS supports the United Nations 2030 Agenda and fully endorses its goals. Since its publication, the BRICS Group has always reported the 2030 Agenda in its official documents as a goal to be achieved, and the last summit was no exception. If you go to the COP28 website, you will see that only Argentina is not on the list, while Iran has left the venue of the international event in the United Arab Emirates in protest at the presence of Israel's representative and the occupying regime's ongoing genocidal war in the besieged Gaza Strip. All BRICS countries are present with their own pavilion and government representatives. This leads to some questions. If countries like the United Arab Emirates, Russia, Saudi Arabia, or Norway rely on fossil fuels, can they aim for net zero emissions? When it comes to greenwashing, or if you prefer, making things look greener than they are, do you think this is just a clever tactic to avoid criticism while at the same time agreeing with climate change skeptics? Are all the world leaders trying to balance development with environmental obligations, or are they simply playing public relations? We would love to hear your opinion on this issue. What do you think? Beware though, this isn't just a BRICS issue. Even the so-called liberal democracies behave the same way. They promote the green agenda, but in reality, the oil and gas companies make golden deals, often even with the help of proxy wars. Sultan Al Jaber, known for his expertise in environmental issues, suggests a balanced view. He believes we shouldn't be too alarmed about climate change. According to him, fossil fuels and renewable energy can work together. He also thinks reducing pollution helps the environment and is a common sense choice. This approach could help poor countries develop without getting into more debt. It is a practical way to move forward. So I ask again, is Sultan Al Jaber right? While you are reasoning about how to answer our questions, let's take a quick tour to see how the different BRICS countries fared at the COP28 meeting. The hosts, the Emirates, are far ahead in building ultra-low emission urban infrastructure. Have you ever wondered about cities of the future? So take a look at Masdar City in Abu Dhabi, a shining example of sustainable urban living. Funded primarily by Abu Dhabi's government and developed by Masdar, a part of Mubadala Investment Company, this city is a blueprint of eco-friendly living. Masdar isn't just building cities, it is one of the world's largest renewable energy companies and a leader in green hydrogen. This puts the United Arab Emirates in a leading role of the global shift towards renewable energy. In 2020, Saudi Arabia launched its oil sustainability program, targeting energy advancement in poorer countries, especially in Africa. Vision 2030, a key plan for economic growth and better living, peaks in 2030 when Saudi Arabia hosts the Expo. A major part of this vision is NEOM, a renewable energy-based area in northwest Saudi Arabia, started in 2017. NEOM represents Saudi Arabia's commitment to sustainable living. More details on this project are available on the Vision 2030 website. It deserves. Similarly, Egypt introduced its Vision 2030 in 2016. This national strategy has 8 main objectives of sustainable growth in line with United Nations goals and Africa 2063 agenda. At COP28, Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali and South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa conveyed a critical message. Balancing environmental protection with financial constraints is tough. Ahmed highlighted Ethiopia's progress, like planting over 32 billion seedlings and aiming for 50 billion by 2026, improving sustainable farming and boosting renewable energy. They have even started exporting wheat, embraced electric vehicles, and upgraded their airlines. He called for global teamwork to support nations like Ethiopia in tackling environmental challenges. President Ramaphosa echoed this, pointing out Africa's urgent need for financial help. He emphasized that countries with limited resources face disproportionate environmental impacts and need significant assistance to adapt to these changes. China, the world's biggest polluter, paradoxically leads in renewable energy, particularly solar. Producing 80% of the world's solar panels, its factories operate non-stop, backed by advanced technologies like 5G and artificial intelligence. China's solar success stems from skilled labor, abundant resources, and significant investments, around $45 billion in 15 years. Yet the challenge lies in its reliance on coal for 2/3 of its electricity, complicating its 2060 carbon-neutral goal. Despite this, solar panels are common even in remote villages, aiding locals financially. Russia's updated climate doctrine, approved by President Putin, no longer directly associates fossil fuel combustion with greenhouse gas emissions. Established in 2009, the doctrine recognizes global warming's adverse effects on Russia, including heat waves and permafrost melt, but also sees benefits like easier Arctic access. Aiming for climate neutrality by 2060 and a 30% emission cut by 2030, Russia now promotes nuclear energy in its climate strategy, despite being a major greenhouse gas emitter. The Indian Pavilion is a buzz with sustainability-focused events under themes like One Earth, One Family, One Future, emphasizing climate justice, health, and energy. The agenda includes the inauguration by Minister Bhupender Yadav and sessions on sustainable cooling, climate resilience, energy storage, decarbonizing steel, and urban climate solutions. These discussions aim to highlight India's dedication to a sustainable future. So, from promises of petrostates to global grassroots movements, progress likely needs contribution across all levels of society. The capacity for human hypocrisy exists alongside ingenuity. Perhaps COP28 will harness both our shortcomings and strengths to chart the course ahead. On our channel, you will always find the most important and real news about BRICS and the emerging multipolar world. If you liked this video, please help us by liking, subscribing, and commenting to join our communities. Your engagement makes our channel grow. Stay informed and stay with us. Thanks for watching.